Hey there, my name is Shane Olson, and today we're going to continue. This is part 4 of the Hammerhead series that I'm working on. So, this is where we left off last week, and we're going to continue on working on this character. So, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Here we go. I kind of wanted to work on this kind of tunic thing today. We're going to start there. I also need to make his breather hole thing on the other side of his head. And then all these little lumps on the back of his head. And then some of the cloth going on down in here. So yeah, let's kind of start up here. And we're just going to grab a sphere. And then insert it into here. This is going to become the shirt thing. So I'm going to do a split unmask points, arrow down. So we have that selected. And I'm just going to squish it into place. Hello everyone, and welcome. How are you today? Is my audio okay? Okay, so what I like to do, hey Neil, is just kind of pull this in. Kind of reminds me of a, what are they called, a dicky, which is like a fake portion of the sweater. So you don't wear a whole sweater, just a little piece of it. I think Howard on Big Bang Theory wears them a lot. Sounds good? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm using Sculptors Pro just to kind of go like back and forth. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make this in 2 pieces. So I even could, maybe I could make it into more, but yeah, I'm going to pull this side up. And then it's going to crisscross down here. So let's pull this one down. And then we can use this gather brush to just kind of run the hard edge along here. Okay, and then I'm just going to duplicate it and then turn it. Oh, come on, where'd you go? And then this one's going to be kind of embedded underneath the other one. So I'm just going to pull this up and out, kind of do something like this, and I want it to kind of disappear underneath that other one. But I want to keep the flow, so like something like that. Yeah, and I'll put them both in their own respective poly groups. And it's just as easy as that to get some kind of a shirt going. And those little things like that really add to the detail of the final sculpt, you know. And this tunic thing right here is just kind of a placeholder. I was just kind of working through it. But now I want to take it to the next level and polish it up. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Auspicious, you have a question. Go ahead. Ask away. Okay. I kind of want to... I don't like this... I don't like this big fold right here. I want to lower it down by the belt. So and I don't want it to be that dense either. There we go. Okay. So now that we have it not so dense, can just kind of smooth this out. Sometimes I like to have the wireframe on just so I can see how dense things are. So what's good, Sammy? What's new? What you been up to? Okay, let's see. I'm gonna use this cloth brush and just kind of pull it out down here by the belt more. Maybe a little smaller. And then cut it in up above it like that. And then go from thin to thick right here. That's better. Have you noticed that UE5 and many other engines have a matte desaturated look all the time? It's like a neutral colors algorithm sucking the life out of everything. It looks like LOG footage. I'm not sure what LOG means. I know that UE5 has its own look to it. Like you can tell when something is made with Unreal, in my opinion. So I know where you're coming from, but I don't know that it has a matte look to it. I guess kind of, but you can tune it to look however you want. I think that most people, they just kind of use what's default straight out of the box, you know? So they don't take the time to tune it to make it not look like that. So yeah, Casey, I heard. And Ozzy, man, what a week. Holy cow. And they usually come in threes, so I'm like, who's next? Goodness, two 80s icons in the same week. Goodness. Yeah, I was never a huge Hulk Hogan fan, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay, I think I'm gonna run a tube along here just to separate it out. But before I do that, I think I'm gonna fill this in right here and just kind of redo this a little bit. And I really want to get a nice sharp crevice through here, but I think I can do that with the tube. So it's called a snap tube. Is it? I'm trying to remember what it starts with. This curve snap strap. I think that's what it is. Yep, that's what I'm after. Okay. So I'm going to start down here and just kind of go up around. And you can continue this. See that little leader sticking off of there? That like red line? If you have that red line showing, you can click and drag and continue it. You know what? I think I want it to be, well, I think this will work. Agree there. Their laser just don't know how to fine tune the engine. I don't want to use it myself. I'm just a passive observer, but it mirrors the ugly color grading trend in Hollywood. Yeah, kind of, yeah, looks kind of come and go as far as that is concerned in both like in Hollywood and in games or whatever. And they're just kind of trends, even in graphic design, stuff like that. Okay, I thought I wanted to do it this way. Let me see. I think I might be changing my mind. And I want to do it by hand because I want fewer squares here. So I'm going to do it like this. It's a little more controlled this way, in my opinion. And then you just kind of cross wherever you want a square. Yeah, it's much more controlled this way. I always do clothing like this. And I'm making it a little thicker than the concept intentionally. And then I will kind of go through and tweak it after the fact. here. Well, I say trend, but it has been going on for 20 plus years. Sick to yeah, true. Was playing baseball Zenyatta the other day, and remember you did that one nice, Casey. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't played Overwatch in a long time. I'm currently playing a game, and when I have the time, I haven't really had the time yet, but it just came out called Wildgate. Okay, I don't know why this line is not going away, but that's okay. This is all I want. I'm going to make it single-sided, and then I'm going to split it off. Arrow down so I can select it, and then grab this color, fill it, and then we're going to hit dynamic subdivisions, give it some thickness. I might have to add the thickness to it because I really want to like blunt these ends off. But one way I can do it is, here, let's solo this, is you can put in a support loop. So like, see how this is round when I turn on dynamic subdivisions? That's because it's smoothing this out. The original vertices or dots, they're right here, these orange dots. So if I turn it off, you can see they're right there. So I can go to the Z modeler brush and just insert an edge loop and squeeze it right up against this edge right here. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. Just squeeze it right up against there and then turn it on. See how it squares it right out? That's how you can get a square end. And now I can just, whoops, let's turn on double for a second, just so we can see the whole thing. And then I'm gonna grab mask lasso, just so I can mask this end like this. And if you hold down Control and you go to mask something, and then you add Alt to it or Command on Apple, then it will mask everything off except for the bit that's in the white area, which is super, super useful. And then I can just kind of drag this closer to where I want it. But I kind of want it to tuck in down here. See that? And then I can use this as this clean edge that goes right up against the like this the tunic thing underneath. But now it's, if you keep it low like this, you can easily manipulate things. You're still working on it, but are you going to make his neck holes on the other side? Yes. Yep. I just wanted to do this side just to as proof of concept, essentially, just to make sure it'll work. What? Where did my little support loop go? What? This one is still there. This one disappeared. It kind of looks like it's still there, but I don't think it is, because when I do this, it goes around again. Where did you go, support loop? Okay, let's bring it back. Weird. There we go. Let's turn on topological too, so there we go. And then I'm going to tuck this underneath the belt like this. Okay, let's just kind of do a double check around the back here. Just scoot it closer. Hey Reza, thank you. I appreciate it. 30 people watching today. Awesome. I really appreciate you coming to hang out with me today. What are you all sculpting? I always love to ask that. What are you working on? And if it's not sculpting, if it's something else, I like to hear that too. Like I'm working on my yard or whatever you're working on. life. Okay, so when I do stuff like this, I like to kind of have softer edges, not so super sharp like this. And how I get away from that is I will change the crease value to a 3 or a 2. You can see it right here. Just so you guys know, if you're new here, this is my custom user interface and my custom menu for ZBrush. I've been using it for a long time, and I like to share it with people so they can use it too, and I give it away for free over on my website. The link's in the description. It's just 3dcharacterworkshop.com. You can go grab it. But essentially, I've brought all the things that I use the most into this menu. I also have a YouTube video teaching you how to make a menu of your own, or if you want to edit the one I've made, that works too. So essentially there is this crease level right here. See, and all the creasing stuff is here. I like to put the headers, like this menu could be a lot shorter if I wanted to, but I put all these headers in there just to show people where to find them for real over in the tool menu. And this is the crease section. So all the stuff that has to do with creasing is right here. So, whenever you use that topology brush, by default, it will crease the edges. And if you set it to crease level 3, what that means is it's going to hold on to the crease through the subdivision levels. So I can subdivide it 3 times before it will let go, or 2 times before it'll let go, depending on what number this says. Okay, so it says 3 times, but this number up here underneath dynamic subdivision is set to 2. That means it's being subdivided twice, which it's still holding on to the crease levels. So if I go to 3 and then 4, see, all of a sudden it gets a little softer. Here, let's go change this to 2. Maybe I'll turn this off. There we go. Okay, you'll want to turn this post subdivision button off, and see how all of a sudden these creases look much softer. So that means it looks more like cloth than it did before. Okay. I'm doing Halloween 3 collectibles right now. Nice. That sounds fun. Still working on my entries for the challenge. Nice. Working on a mermaid creature, but she is still in an A pose, and I can't come up with a nice pose to put her in. How do you come up with a dynamic action pose? You're not going to like my answer. Because, okay, we're kind of in the middle of this. All these artists hate AI, you know. In my opinion, I feel like it can be used to generate ideas, and that's it. So you can kind of throw an image like that into AI and just say, give me some dynamic pose ideas. And then it can. Or if you have the means, then ask a professional concept artist to give you some ideas, or look on Pinterest. Those are my three go-tos. I'm actually testing blockout methods by Ryan Kingsland, Raphael Grizzetti, and you. Oh, nice. Yeah, Raph is great. I love him. Yeah, so is Ryan. I mean, he's like the anatomy king, right? So I just know enough anatomy to be dangerous. But I'm probably going to get canceled for saying that. But I really like AI to help me generate ideas with. I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, Mixamo is a good way to go too, but see, it's that kind of helps you test out poses. It doesn't really give you pose ideas. But you can test a pose really quickly in there. Same with Character Creator. I really like Character Creator for that reason. Um, Usually when you mask something and you move it in, it's going to make shards out of your mesh here. So you'll want to turn on Sculptus Pro and just kind of go over it with your smooth brush, and it will rebuild the faces. You can go a little more dense with the geometry, and that'll create a nice cavity there for your arm to stick into. Then you can tune it after the fact. I like to make it look like it has weight and it has gravity and it's pulling down. But the reason why I'm only going in so far is because I'm going to be 3D printing this, or if I do. Hey Adelia, how are you? Welcome. Okay. All right. I'm switching this up. I'm listening to music today. Usually I just have my headphones on and listening to nothing. I'm going to have this side be a little smaller than the other side. And probably go into his tunic just a little bit. Looks great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is part 4, so I think we're going on hour 7 with him. I'm no speed sculptor. I'm a little more methodical when it comes to my stuff, because I try and keep things clean as I go. That's my bag, is clean. I think it's going up a little too far here. Let me see here. I'm going to give myself a little, yeah, that's pretty good. And then it comes down to here. That's way back here. Okay. Okay, let's solo this. My buddy Derek has a really nice lighting and camera setup at his place, and he takes really nice pictures of 3D prints with his setup. And he took a picture of the one I've been working on lately. I've been doing some freelance work, and I made it's like historical heroes, historical figures. And one of them is Moses, and the other one is Harriet Tubman. And I want to show it to you. It worked out pretty impressively, like the picture. Here you go. How fun is that? Yeah, so to zoom in, Moses and Harriet Tubman, and he prints these out as well. He printed this out in clear, but you can see like these cool nameplates, and yeah, pretty fun. And this is like the clothing wrinkles I like to do, just like these kind of sharpish. And so here's an example of, I wish I would have done the see this little chunky edge right here. I kind of like it because it looks like cloth, almost tattered cloth, but it's from low resolution. And if I were to do this again, I would do it how I just showed you, like with straps or handmade stripes, you know. So and you can see how with this sleeve, how we didn't go very deep with it. And this little hole right here, it only goes in so deep. It doesn't go all the way in. Because you don't want pockets when you're doing 3D printing. So, sorry for asking a silly question, but does topology matter while doing 3D printing? Not really, because at the end you want to decimate it, which is like make it very, very low resolution. And so it's very, very forgiving. That's why you can use Sculptris Pro with, and Sculptris Pro makes triangles. And so does decimation. Decimation will make triangles as well. So yeah, to answer your question, it does not matter. Okay. The only time resolution really matters is if it's going to be animated, like in a game or a television show or something like that. And the only reason that matters is because you want it to deform well, and 3D prints are not going to be deforming, so you don't really need to worry about that too much. $35 people watching, nice. I'm so happy you decided to hang out with me today. I really appreciate it. I have a question for you. So, and you might be new here, but I've made a course called the 3D Character Workshop. I made it like 8 years ago, apparently. I didn't even realize it's been that long, but it has. Let me see how far up okay, I just kept it inside there. I'll show you a little trick. See how it's low res, so it's making these chunky edges. But I have Sculptris Pro on, so I could turn down the resolution, and it'll make those edges better. You can also see these little blue things that are coming through. That's just showing you the background sometimes when it doesn't draw correctly. Because ZBrush, it kind of draws its own special way. Okay. Anyway, the question was, it's kind of a poll, but it's only a very small group of people here to ask. I've been thinking about doing like I want to say a Patreon, but it's not a Patreon. It's more like a community, but it has, it's kind of like, if you're familiar with schoolism, where it's like you would get access to everything I've made, or most things that I've made, like all of my, because inside my course I have like 4 different courses or more, plus I have like some add-ons and some brushes and just a whole bunch of different things. And so rather than selling those all as separate bits and becoming like a management nightmare, I was thinking maybe I could just do, I know a lot of people hate subscriptions, but it's a good way to keep it all just kind of a single thing and give everybody access at a good cost point, you know? And it's just easy to come and go if you want. But then also do some live coaching, some challenges, stuff like that. Just wondering if anybody would be interested in that, or would you rather still just do one-off courses? Okay, did I turn on dynamic? I did. And it would be like very, oh, what the heck? Why did it I made like all these copies. I don't want all these copies. Yeah, it's kind of like Earthworm Jim. I think it's because I let go of control. Yeah, this is Hammerhead from Star Wars. That's his kind of nickname. It's not really Hammer. It's you Star Wars guys. What's his real name? Hey Eduardo, how are you? Does that include the lino anatomy? Yeah. Yep. It would be everything. So I would basically split off everything into their own individual pieces and then make more. If that makes sense. Because I ran across a platform that would allow me to do that. Yeah, the reason I keep thinking about doing that is just because it would allow me to just make whatever the heck I wanted and like ask you guys what you want, and I could do demos, and I wouldn't have to constantly be thinking about, should I make this into a course? Should I do this? Should I do that? You know, I would just like make it and throw it up there. And then you just get access to it. And as long as you're part of the subscription, you just get it, you know? Low maintenance. And then I'd also give away STLs in there too. Like an STL of this guy if you wanted to print him out. Anyway, does that sound interesting to you or not? At all? Okay, I need to dig this out. I think I'm going to use masking and pull it down though. I have a bunch of small, just little tips and tricks in my course, like a quick and easy way to make a mouth, or how to scale your eyeballs. And I'd love for those just to be one-off little course things that you can easily find. So you don't have to go searching. I'm going to pull this down even more, I think, just to get it completely out of there. Yeah, there we go. I like that. Neil, what are you saying? What is Roron Krab? What is that? Did your cat walk across your keyboard? That's whose name? Oh, this guy. I'm like, what are you trying to say to me? Just making stuff up now. His name is Roron Korab, huh? That's crazy. Right. There we go. Breather holes. Okay, now for the back of his head. I'm going to do all those lumpies. And for that, I think I'm just going to use clay buildup and then smooth it down. There's a couple ways I can do it. Here, let's take a look at the density. I want to make it more dense. Maybe not that dense. Yeah, come on. It's like barely in there. Ah, that works. Okay, I'm just going to fill this area out so I have enough density right here that I can edit it. Okay. So nobody has any opinion on the subscription model, if they care or not? Just curious. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these lumps is just kind of paint them in. Let's see what we can get them to look like. And then smoothed out. See if I like that. Yeah, that's not bad. I kind of want them thicker towards the bottom and thinner towards the top, so they have kind of a shadow. I can also hold down Alt and use it kind of as a, oops, that's too harsh. But you can use it kind of as a scrape brush a little bit. Another way I can do it is I can hold down masking, go like this, invert that mask, put the gizmo at the top, and just kind of roll it out like that. That makes this very flat, so I'd have to come back in and smooth it down a lot. But I do kind of like that look. It's nice and clean. So I think I'm going to do it that way. Undo, 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 undo. Here, let's just roll the history back. Okay, to right there. Okay, let's do this again. I think I can do like a few at a time. As long as I keep them all kind of on the same level. It works. Then invert the mask and put the gizmo like right at the top right here and align it like this, and then use this this rotation and just kind of rotate them out and move them up a little bit, and then clear the mask and smooth them in. I kind of like that look. I think I need to do a smooth stronger though. Where you find smooth stronger is if you hit comma and you go to brushes, there's a folder called smooth. Smooth, 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 where are you? Smooth, there's standard. Why can't I see it? Clay. Oh, there it is. Up. Okay, smooth, stronger, right there. So I'm going to double click on this, say skip, and now it's using smooth stronger right there. So yeah, when I smooth, it's much faster. But I don't want it that strong. So I'm going to turn it down to about half. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to stagger these. Maybe put a little one right there. And then do it again with the gizmo. Just kind of park it up here. Just roll these out, pull them up. and smooth them down. Kind of want to smooth these end ones in a little bit more than the ones in the middle. Okay, let's take a look how that looks. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe give it a little variety on the size there. Sometimes you have to turn it to line it up. You have to be careful because the ones on the side don't always like follow. So just use a combination of scale, transform, and rotate. You might have to really smooth them down to merge them in. You guys ever listen to Peter Murphy? Do you know who that is? An old 80s new wave guy. Yeah, see, when I rotate them, these kind of come in. So I have to scale them back out. I like the silhouette that this is making. So now I need to kind of start to fade them off as they get higher, like not so strong. You guys are kind of quiet today. What's going on? Just working? Head down? A lot of people just turn me on in the background, and that sounded horrible. They they flip on my video in the background and just listen, and then flip back over if I say something crazy interesting, like showing new techniques or whatever. Which is totally fine. I do the same thing. Right, so I'm going to start shrinking the size of these and make them not stick out so far. Okay, and then a little smaller. Maybe not perfect alignment either. Neil, do you know who Peter Murphy is? Listening to a song called Cuts You Up. It's really good. Almost done. There we go. I'm happy with that. Let's save it. Save next. Okay. What do I want to do next? I got let's do the little folds on his tunic down here, and then I need to give him these belt pill things and a couple little shiny circles. I don't, but I'll have to give him a listen. Cool. Ugh. Listen to cuts you up. That's a good one. Or wish I could play it for you guys, but Twitch will strike me, and so will YouTube. I'm gonna cut in a couple cuts down here, some detail cuts. Just some folds to make it look like he's got kind of some throat folds down here. Let's kind of do one that goes like this. Whoop, I mean, they'll stick out a little bit. That's okay. Just tuck those back in and then do it again. Just coming back in with inflate and inflating this area a little bit more. Sometimes I like to turn off Sculptris Pro to do the inflate, because if I don't, it kind of works against itself. It's like trying to create geometry while it's inflating. Sometimes that's what you want when you're going big with it, but when you're doing like just little subtle lifts and volume changes like this, it tends to work against you. There we go. Trying to decide if I like that. Maybe a little cut the other way. It's just a little too even. There we go. Just split up the difference there a little bit. It's got some texture detail too, but I don't know if I want to put that in there. Okay, let's do the cloth on the tunic down here. And for that I want to use the carve brush. And again, I kind of want to make sure that we're good with the density. Just kind of flood fill this a little bit. Okay, and then kind of build it up, maybe bigger. I want to pull it up and out, not push it in, which is, sometimes this light plays with my brain. It makes me think I'm pushing it in when I'm actually pulling it out. Okay. Liking that, but I want to smooth it down a lot. I want to build up this end a little bit too. Not that much. Okay. Okay. Digging that. I think I want to put one more wrinkle right there. There we go. Okay, let's do his eyes. Are you going to show how you cut the model up for 3D printing now that you've made multiple streams for this character? Might as well show that too. Maybe. We'll see. Can you move the top of his rear pant leg? The little gap is messing with my head. You talking about the rear? Oh, you're talking about this? Yeah. I was actually going to go up under here and like push it so it looked like it had thickness. But yeah, if it's bugging you, I'll fix it. Here. Whoop. How's that? Neil, you make me laugh. All right, let's do. Yep, you're like, oh. That's funny. Okay, let's do that now, and then we'll do the eyes. Give this some thickness. Sorry, I'm just kind of focusing here for a second while we do this. I'm just looking to make sure I have the right thickness. Okay, and then you just put the gizmo in the middle of it, and then just kind of scale it down and push it in. And that will really expose those legs. And then you just come in here because it's all stretched out again and just rebuild that geo. Probably not so smooth. It's kind of therapeutic to come through here and rebuild the stretched out geometry. Okay. Now I can come through and smooth some of this out, like really crank it big. And with that smooth stronger, it should go pretty quick. Okay. So see, that gives it kind of that edge. There you go. This one's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Just for you, Neil, we'll stick it up in there. Okay, and then we can mask this off. I'm going to do that trick that Ronnie showed me. I was just talking to Ronnie yesterday. So if your mesh is really dense like this, you have kind of two options. You can either Z-remesh it and then subdivide it down and then mask the lowest subdivision level. That will give you a nice blended mask. Or you can zoom way out, because if I mask like this, see, it's going to give me this really hard edge, and then it's going to take forever to blur. But I want that blur to go from like here to here, not just a little bit in the middle. So the trick is if you zoom way out, I'm going to grab mask lasso, zoom way out, and then mask it off like that. It gives me a nice blend, nice blur. It just kind of sucks because it's hard to see, but that's kind of how you can do it. Okay, and then I want to mask off the rest of these bits. So then I can grab my gizmo, put it right here. I'm going to kind of center it and just aim it towards that leg down there. And then scale it. Whoop. There we go. Looks like I made it peek out here a little bit. And then I got to make sure that it doesn't look like this tunic is clipping through. Okay. Let's do the eyes. Aye, aye, aye. After we save it. Okay. All right, we're gonna hand paint these and see how it goes. So we got dynamic subdivisions. Let's do apply and then subdivide it up to over 1 million here. So we're at like 3 million for these eyes. That way we can get really sharp painting of it. And I'm probably going to paint one and then copy it over to the other side. Since this is not symmetrical, I'm going to have to do it that way. Let's take a look at, so he's got these blue eyes, but he's got like this dark outline. What I'm going to do is grab the blue and then make it dark, but I like to stay out of this black zone and just go pretty dark with a blue. Okay. And then I'm going to turn off Sculptress Pro, turn on paint, and then let's see, I'm going to put it in the middle and it's going to look funny until I pose it. So I'm going to use this, I'm going to use the geometry and this crisscross right here to put it right in the center, like that. Okay, and then just shrink my brush down a couple times. Grab this color. And then again, just kind of, this gives me a guide of where to put my brush, and then I just make little circles. So it looks something like this. Then I'm gonna grab this color again for the pupil. And then just kind of go, whoop. Okay, and then what I like to do, you know, I'm gonna do this differently. I'm gonna mask this off first. So if I go to mask, down here, masking, and then I'm gonna go to mask by poly paint, click on that, and it opens this little window. And then I want to frame it. So up here is frame. It'll kind of zoom it in there. Okay, and then what you can do, see all these little swatches over here? I can click on one and drag it over and then click either here or here. So this is the bit I want masked off. So I'm going to pick this, and then you just say OK. And now it's masked and this part is not. So, and also what I can do is turn off view mask. So now I know that it's masked, but I'm not going to accidentally paint into the white zone. Okay, let's see here. And then I do want to have this blue be a little bit larger, so I'm going to make my brush a little larger. Like that, because I want that dark ring to be a little thinner than I had it before. So again, the other part is masked off, and I know this, so what I can do is I can go to this airbrush and I can crank up the RGB intensity and then grab this dark blue color again, and I like to shade the top like this, because your eye is like it's a cone that pushes towards the inside of your eye. So the top side of your iris gets shaded like this. And then the bottom side of your iris gets lit. So I'm going to grab this blue. And then what I like to do is crank it into this kind of teal color and more saturation. And just barely hit it down here. And just like glow it up. And sometimes I like to go over that dark edge a little bit just to break it. Go up like that, and then I'll grab this dark color again, and then grab the hard edge brush and then paint that in. Let's get in the middle. Okay, so then it looks like this. So then I have, and I could do, like when I did that shadow, I can make it hard edged, like see how this has a hard edge right there? I could do it like that too, just to keep it more graphic looking, but I do like the gradient tone. And then there is a material that is put out by ZBrush called ZBrush Eye Reflect. I don't have it loaded right now, but I can load it. So how you load a material is you click on one of these swatches, and then it pulls up your material browser. And then at the bottom, see it says load. So I'm going to click on load, and I'm going to go find it. I'm going to put this up here and just go get it. And they're free. You can find them there just by ZBrush. Okay. But if you put them in your Z Startup Materials folder, they should show up. Okay, there it is. ZBrush Eye Reflection. It's a really cool material. If you want to fill this with that material, then what you can do is go to your paintbrush, change from RGB over to M, which is material, and then just click on fill object right here, and that fills the material. So you can think of a material as like it's almost like a clear coat over the top of your paint. And then I'll switch back to Skin Shade 4. And then, oh, it looks like I still had my iris masked, so it only filled the iris with that material. See that? And the rest of the eye. So I got to clear that mask off and then go back to that ZBrush Eye Reflect and then fill the whole thing. Okay. Now I'll go back to Skin Shade 4 and it should stick. There we go. There we go. Okay. Is there a trick to turn the eyes in the socket both at the same time? If I use the gizmo and symmetry, it goes cross-eye, or do you have to do the eye one by one? Yeah, you have to, if they're going to look to the left or the right, you have to do them one by one. Yeah, there's kind of no way around that unless it's rigged. Okay, so like what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to duplicate this eye and move it over to the other side. So to do that, these are both in the same poly group. I want one to be a different poly group. And then I'm going to say group split, because these are they have subdivision levels now, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to say here, let me save this before I do, because I like this eye paint and I don't want to lose it in case we crash. Okay. So I'm going to now say group split. Group split. Okay. And that's just going to put that other eye in a new subtool right here. And I don't need it, so I'm going to delete it. Well, I'm going to use it as a reference. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this one and then move it. So I'm going to center it, reset this, and then I'm going to move this over so it lines up with this one. Okay. And then just kind of move this gizmo around a little bit because I want to push it. Okay, it looks like I have it lined up quite well, so we're good here. Now I can delete this one. Delete. Okay. So now I can move my my reference back to where it was. And then I can look where he's looking and then move it to where he's looking. So I'm gonna grab this eye, turn this off, and now I can just swivel it in the socket and it should just turn. So he's essentially looking at whomever he's gonna strike with his lightsaber. So I'm gonna make it look down the barrel of the lightsaber. We'll center this, and same thing with this eye. We're going to make him look. So that's why I kind of put myself as the point to which he's looking at, so I can make sure these eyes are lined up. A lot of students get that wrong. Either their eyes are wall-eyed or cross-eyed or looking off in some weird direction, not telling a story. There we go. So my guy's head is turned a little bit more because this is drawn in 2D and it's being warped a little bit. It's almost like the end of his head is being twisted towards the camera, but this bit is not. So I'm using some artistic liberties here and making it work in 3D. I do like that that peak right here though. So I'm going to peak this up. That's cool. Okay. Okay, what time we at? An hour and 10? Okay. I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Oh, I gotta finish his belt. But I was thinking about, do I want to do the base or start to cut him up for 3D printing? I'm not quite sure yet. Give him a little bit of a puffy shoulder here. Okay. And I also kind of want to fatten up his fingers, but I really like how spidery this hand is. And that's why it looks spidery over here. It's almost like there's two different hands going on here. So I kind of have to make that decision whether I want these to be thicker. But if I do, I would have to thicken them up on both sides. So I'm trying to decide. Well, I'll leave that for a minute. Okay, let's go ahead and make these kind of pill shapes for his belt. And then these two circles are super easy to stick in there. I'm trying to, it looks like the belt is split down the middle. So let's do that first. And yes, the belt is just a cylinder. It's not really a belt. So when you're doing 3D printing, you can cheat like that and just make your objects shoot all the way through your model. Okay, so to make a slice in here, there's a couple ways you can do it, but the easiest way is just to use ZModeler. Come in here, and I can do a bevel. So bevel, complete edge loop. I want to make sure dynamic subdivision's turned off, just so I can see what's going on with it better. And what I like about bevel is it makes a brand new polygroup in the middle. And so I can go extrude polygroup all, and then just pull it in like this, which also adds new polygroups, which is great. And then I think this will probably do it. I just need to do poly or group by normals, which will give me brand new groups based off of the edge difference. Like if anything is past a 45 degree, it's going to put it in a new polygroup. Then I can do crease edges at level 3, crease polygroups, and it puts these creases all between all these polygroups. And now when I turn on dynamic subdivision, it looks like this. Nice crease, but it's a little too crispy again. So let's crank up the subdivisions to 4. So it lets go of that crease a little bit. And now we have softer creases. Now it's a little too thick in here. I kind of want it thinner. So what you can do is you can slide these edges. So we're going to hover over an edge and click on slide. And then say edge loop complete. And then I'm going to slide it up here. Slide it down here. And that just kind of makes a shallower valley. But if I want to do this, this is not going to work because it's going to go in towards that valley. So if I wanted to bring these closer, I can use transpose. So I'll hover over this edge, click on transpose, edge loop complete. Then I have to click it again, and it'll mask everything off except for that edge. And then I'll just move my camera so I can kind of see it, and then just pull it down like that. And then I can do the same thing, clear off the mask, click on this edge. Nope. Come on. This edge. There we go. And pull it up to make it thinner. And there we go. Clear the mask. That's a nice kind of a cut edge through there. That'll add some detail for when it gets 3D printed. It'll look nice. But the thing I don't want is I don't want this this line to be full of supports. I don't want the support software to think it needs to put a bunch of supports in there. So I'm going to slide this again. Slide. Split stitch. Where is slide? There it is. Okay. Bring it down. Okay. That should help that out a little bit. What is going on here? I must have like extruded that down in there. There we go. I'm like, what in the heck is happening? Okay. Okay, I'm going to slide this actually out here so it's not so deep. There we go. I think that's better. It's a cut, but not so deep that it's going to put supports in there. Okay, now I'm going to put these 2 little dots on there. So easy way to do that is grab this cylinder and just kind of click and drag it And it's going to take on whatever color that you had in there before. So I can undo that and then grab this color I want to here. And then split it off. And then move it a little bit. Oops. I need to arrow down to select it. Move it down. So it's kind of right over the top of that valley that we just made. And then we can just go like this. So it's like more like a button. And then duplicate it. There we go. 2 shiny dots. Looks like I need to set it down into the surface a little bit more. I can turn on dynamic subdivisions on this to make them even smoother. Okay, so let's make these little pill shapes. Welcome everybody. If you're just new, my name's Shane Olson, and I sculpt stylized characters. So this is the one I'm working on this week. This is part 4. So I've been working on this guy for a little bit. I usually spend about 2 hours per week on these characters. So this is going on hour 8 of this guy. Okay, so with these selected, I'm going to grab this insert multi-mesh brush. Now this is my insert multi-mesh brush. The reason I made my own is because I like to have all of my primitives made of quads. And you'll see this cylinder, the caps are made of quads instead of poles. And again, I give away this brush for free. And all these brushes actually for free over on my website. The link's in the description. If you want to, you can go grab those. So I'm just gonna pull this cylinder out. Made it a little too big. And then just kind of align it how I want it. Shrink it down. Okay. Now I want to have these end caps that are perfectly round. So I'm going to split this off and then solo it so we can actually see what we're doing here. I'm going to turn off dynamic subdivisions for a second. Now I have a cylinder that kind of matches the topology of this, or I said cylinder, I meant sphere. So if I click and drag this sphere, drag it out, you can see that the topology kind of matches here. Please keep an eye on the chat. What did I miss? I must be like not seeing all the chat. This is what I see, you guys. So I have this is through Restream. So I get fed Twitch chat right here and YouTube chat right here. I was wondering if, because you guys are kind of being quiet today, I'm like, why am I not, maybe I'm not seeing everything, but this is all the chat I've seen. So I answered this question and this one. So am I missing something? Hope not. Maybe, yeah. Or if it's not delivering me all the questions. But I apologize for that. If I did miss, just please type it again and see if I can catch it. Okay, let's see. Clip curve. And I can just clip that right off. And then bring this down. And then I'm going to try and line this up as best as I can. Okay. And I want to leave a little gap. And then I'll flip this over to the other side. Whoops. Let me move this out of the way here. Am I? Yeah, please let me know if I'm missing some messages, and maybe I'll miss it when you tell me. Hey Neil, will you message me in Discord and tell me if I've missed some? Maybe it's glitching out today. I don't know. Okay, I want this gap, but I don't. What am I trying to say? I don't want it to go all the way through. Oh, I did see that one. In your opinion, are stylized graphics inherently low poly? It does seem more cartoonish, and many people would say cartoonish and stylized are synonymous. I don't think they go, I don't think low poly goes hand in hand with stylized. No. I think low poly has everything to do with your end result, like where are you taking it? If you're taking it to, say, a phone game, then yeah, low poly, or like an older console, or like the first Switch or something like that, you know, or a handheld, those all need very low poly. But like this character I'm working on right now is not high poly, or not low poly at all. I'm working in low poly right here just because it's easier. But when I'm done, I'm going to subdivide it up and make it high poly because I'm going to 3D print it. But yeah, like I said, I think it matters more about, I think the polygon count matters more depending on what you're doing with it rather than what style you're doing, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to group these, and then I'm going to get rid of this poly group, this one. I need to pull this away. I hope that answers your question. And yeah, I agree with you. I would say cartoony and stylized, they're kind of the same thing. Stylized to me just means not realistic, and there's varying degrees of stylized. Like, for example, in film, like Kung Fu Panda, for example, that's stylized, but it has realistic textures. And then you have stuff like World of Warcraft that's both stylized and the textures are stylized as well. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do bridge. Bridge. 2 holes. Let's see if I can get this to work. There we go. Okay, and yeah, I know it's not perfect, but insert, get rid of this, get rid of this. And we'll mask this off. Just want to twist it a little bit, maybe shrink it a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect. I'm just trying to get that gap back through here without it being hollow. I think it's a little too big. There we go. Okay, so now, see how this is like every other. What we can do is go to the Z modeler, go to hover over face, go to poly group, and then go to poly loop. And then there's this little orange line. As long as you're pointing the direction around that poly loop, it will make it, it'll send it off in that direction. Okay, so now we can go extrude, polygroup all. We're just going to extrude it in, zoop, like that. Okay, so now we can do uncrease all, group by normals, crease polygroups, turn on dynamic subdivisions, crank it up to 4. We're good. And this is what it looks like. Let's get the right color. And there's our little capsule. Yay. Yeah, that took a little longer than I thought it would, but hey, we're here. So am I missing any other chat? Or did I miss that chat? What's going on? Or had you not asked me yet? Okay, I'm gonna just stretch this out a little bit. I like the colors you're using. There's none of that wishy-washy UE5 types desaturation. It just looks normal. That's all I ask of devs and filmmakers, just to leave the colors and contrast alone. Thanks. This is just using a basic ZBrush material called Skin Shade 4. The reason I like it so much is because it shows it's called poly paint. It's just the paint underneath, and it gives it kind of that stylized look. And I really like make it so it looks like vinyl. I like the vinyl look, like collectible vinyl, which is matte. It does have a matte finish to it, you know, unless it's supposed to be shiny, like specifically. Like I would make these little things shiny. Like if I was to hand paint this, like after I 3D print it, if I were to hand paint this for real, I'd probably use a metallic paint on these things, but I might not. I don't know. Because I really like that vinyl look, that matte look, but bright. I like really bright colors, or what's the other term for it? Saturated. I really like saturated, bright colors. So, I mean, brown is not really bright, but it is saturated. Like Arcane, or, you know, something like that, just, or Disney. Okay. There's the little capsules. All right, we can put them in perspective so we can see what that looks like. Let's give them a little bit of a base. Okay, for the base, what I want to do is, hold on a second. I always see things and it'll kind of catch me in my tracks, and I'll want to adjust it. One of those things is, well, is just this fold right here is really large, and I want to make sure I get that in there. Same with this one. I want to polish these folds before I make a base. Okay, let's see. Maybe I want to be able to carve through this. Bigger. I might go the masking method here. this is a different way you can do wrinkles, is you kind of mask where you want them to fold. And then we can hit blur. Let's see, and then just use move. I'm gonna have to adjust all this stuff after I do this, but and just kind of grab it and pull it up and out. I actually wrote a Substack essay about this. I float the idea that color grading should be a subliminal form of psychological warfare, maybe to induce a kind of depressive passive in an audience. I mean, light is powerful, right? And it definitely can cause mood or change mood, or, you know, make people feel things for sure. But it also falls under taste. You know, some people care about that stuff deeply, like apparently you do, and other people don't care about it as much. But it's and there's certain things that I care about that I think a lot of other people could care less, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I like to sculpt with light. Like, that's how I think about it, is using light to sculpt with, but not to the degree of I'm not thinking about people's moods or, you know, affecting them mentally with it. Just I'm thinking about it more like, where is their eye going to be driven? Like, what are they going to look at? And what do I care about as far as it driving the form? And I really want this this belt to go up and over this fold like it does in the concept. I think that's really fun and cool. Again, I've been playing Wildgate a lot recently, and I really love the lighting in that game. It's fantastic. They did a great job. It doesn't feel like Unreal Engine. It's, you know, your typical. It's very saturated, very stylized. But it kind of reminds me, it's ex Blizzard devs that made that game. So it's not really a surprise that it looks like Blizzard stuff. It's very ratchet and clanky, you know, like high saturation. I'm autistic, so I'm hypersensitive to stuff like this, but technically I'm advocating neutrality. I just want them to leave things alone. Yeah, I can see that. There we go. It's not as extreme as this fold, but it's still working, I think. I think to do this, let me see if I can. Let me try something. I can do it with a supporting edge loop. Like that. That, like this. There we go. See how I got that to pinch down in there like that. It worked pretty well. There we go. I don't hate that. Okay, let's save that. Just want to polish this a little bit more. Just adding a little bit more density through here so I can smooth it out without destroying it too much. Then I can come through here and crease this. I like this this crease brush, this pinch brush, whatever you want to call it, because you can kind of sculpt with it. So this is what I'm talking about when I say sculpt with the light. See this highlight right here and how it kind of kicks up and comes back down. I want it to be nice and even. So watch what happens when I pinch and go along here. See how it actually pulls that highlight down? And then I can smooth it back down and then it'll stay there. Razor, yeah, it's streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming on Maxon's channel today, not my own. So, well, you're on the Maxon Twitch channel. So, look for Maxon ZBrush. That's the one that I'm streaming on today, I believe. Oh, Neil just gave you a link. There you go. Thanks, Neil. Okay, let's do just a placeholder base in there. What I like to do with an object that I'm not going to insert with the insert brush like this is I will just go to my subtool menu and hit append and then select like this star, and it will just put it at 0, 0, and then I'll select that star. Then I'll turn on the gizmo so you can see the gizmo. Then go to my insert multi-mesh and pick the cylinder. And it will replace that star with the cylinder. Then I can snap it into place like this. And then I'm going to scale it down, and I'm going to make it kind of oblong, like an oval, because his feet are pushed so far. Let me unhide the ruler. Okay, so let's see. So this ruler is real world scale, and I'd like to scale them down to the ruler at the last minute, so I think I'm going to leave him big for now, and I'm going to scale the base to him, and then I'll scale him down to the ruler later on. Something like that. This would be fun to have on your shelf, right? Okay, so I'm gonna mask the top off, and what I like to do is scale the bottom out. Maybe let's go maybe this way first, and then this way. There we go. What what is his name, Neil? It's like something crazy weird. Roran Korob. That's right. Okay. It's such a weird name. I love it. As weird as he looks, I guess. Make that base a little bit taller. And he's got a blue lightsaber, so I assume he's rebel, so I wonder if I should put like a rebel symbol on the base right here, like, or a Jedi symbol or something like that. And then put his name right here. Would be kind of cool. Like, what's a Star Wars font? Star Wars. There's literally like a Star Wars Jedi font. I'm gonna get it. Star Jedi. That'll be funny. Okay. I'll show you guys how to do this lettering. I haven't really done lettering on a stream before, so this will be good. Okay. So let's go, and I'll show you how to curve it to the base so it matches and fits. So there is a plugin called Text 3D and Vector Shapes right here. If you have my user interface, I have the Z plugins docked over here on the left-hand side. You just have to double click this shelf and open it. Otherwise, you have to go up to this Z plugin right here and find it. Z plugin right there. Anyway, yeah, it's just here. And what you can do is say load font from disk right here, and then you go get it. Let me see, hold on a second. I need to unzip it. My C drive is full. Extract all, there we go. Star Jedi, I think, is the one I want. Okay. True type font, star. I don't know which one's which. We'll just try one. And then, let's see, and then you just type it in. So you say new text. Oops, and I'm going to say his name. I got to go find it in the chat again. Roran Korob. There we go. And then it should make it really huge. Let's see. I'm going to do Roran Korob. I think they're supposed to be all uppercase. Okay, here it is. Dun, 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 dun. Why did it do ends? It's like it's missing. Weird. So auspicious. Dude, what I would do if I were you is, like, the Unreal Engine is free. I don't, you might have already done this, but you should just download it and say, do some examples and like do a paper on it or something. You said you did already do a Substack, but it'd be cool to say, this is what most games look like, and this is what they should look like, you know? I don't know why it didn't do the O's. I might have to use a different font. Let's see here. Delete that. Do it again. I'm going to load a different font. That's hollow. Where's the O's? Okay, let's try a different one. Star out. I don't think this is going to work. Maybe I have to do lowercase. Edit text. R-O-R. Oh, it puts... Okay, that's weird. It's wanting to connect this R. But if you do it all lowercase, then it looks like it works. R-O-R-O-N. Is that how you spell it? Okay. I think I want the first one. Logo? Okay, that works. All right, did I spell that right? Neil. Oh gosh. Okay. Spacing. I think I can shrink that. Yeah, I kind of like it jammed together. And then you can adjust the extrusion of it right here. So how thick it is. And you can also add a bevel to it, which is kind of fun. Oh, 2 B's, 1 R. Okay, thank you. That could have been disastrous. Okay, so you can see the bevel. Okay, so I'm trying to decide if I want a bevel or not. I think I do. That's fine. We'll just stick with that. All right. So now that we have this, and now we can just kind of start scaling it down and match it to the side of the thing. And what I like to do is just kind of get it down here. Kind of centered. And then what I like to do is kind of my audio is a bit low. Is it for everybody? Hey Zephyrus, welcome. Hey Baymax. Okay, I'm gonna stretch it a little bit this way. Well, and this way. Okay, I'm gonna turn the base just a little bit. Let's see. Let me see what it looks like from the top here. I need to turn the floor on just so I can match it. I just want it, there we go. I just want it straight and I want to put it in the middle of the world. It's just easier to deal with if it's in the middle of the world like this. Then I can mask this off. Then kind of go like that. And from the side, go like this. There we go. Okay. Now let's take this and move it back to where it was when I first generated it. Okay. Now I just need to rotate it. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Okay. And then this is the secret bit right here, is I like to line it up with the edge like this, the angle in the center. So it's ready to be wrapped, right? So I have it like this, and I can even embed it just slightly like this. Okay, not quite half, but something like that. And let me turn off the floor so we can see it. Okay, so now what we do is we go to the gear, and then you go bend arc like this. Okay, and what that does is that puts this this box around it, and then it gives you these controls. So you have this angle, this radius, this twist, and you grab this green one, and you can see it starts to bend it along the angle. But what you want to do is you want to bend it when it's snapped. So you want to make sure perspective is turned off, and then you grab that little green cone and just pull it straight back. Okay, and then you can grab it from the front, make sure it's snapped, and then just kind of pull it up like this. And you have to eyeball it, but it has those lines, so you can kind of line it up and then pull it some more. It's kind of this back and forth. It's not really it's not perfect. There we go. Okay, I think we got it. Okay, so then you just kind of inspect it and make sure it's following so it's following basically two arcs. It's got the angle and the arc going this way. Okay, so then you can leave it like that, and that's it, and you're done with it. And then you just go to a different subtool and keep working on it. Or you can accept the bend, and then you can't really you can't edit it. You can no longer edit it. So we're going to hit accept, and it is what it is now, and now it's part of the thing. So if you want to edit it, you have to kind of go back and go back into the text editor and do it again that way, and rewrap it again that way. So hopefully that makes sense. Am I still quiet? Am I quiet for anybody else? Okay, we're just about done here for the day. We're going to wrap it up shortly. Earliest film I know where the colors have been digitally altered was 7 and increased sporadically from there on. Become completely dominant in 2008. I remember what is the name of that movie? Something Where Art Thou? That was like, that's the first movie I remember like being really like artistically changed color wise. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That's the one. And I don't know, I liked what they did with that. Okay, I'm gonna move this down, and then grab everything except for the base and kind of move him to fit the base. Well, there we go. Well, that's fun. This is fun. I like this guy. He turned out all right. Good old Roron. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining me on this longer journey of 4 live streams. I'm glad I could pretty much wrap it up on this one. I'm gonna make sure I save it. So sorry I didn't get to the cutting up of for 3D printing, but yeah, I might do one where I do that bit. We'll see. I just wanted to do more complex characters instead of just one-offs, you know, a new character every single stream. I wanted one that lasted over several streams. So there you go. Looking at him from the front. I'll probably take him into a different program to render him out. I don't know where yet, but yeah, when I'll probably post him on my socials pretty soon. Yeah, no worries guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hey, 50 people watching. That's not bad at all. Yeah. So I'll have to find something to sculpt next week, and I sculpt on my own channel every Tuesday from noon to 2 Pacific time over there as well. And I do use more than just ZBrush over on my own channel as well. I might even render this guy on my channel so I can use a different program. And I teach an online course called 3D Character Workshop. And I also give away these brushes for free. If you're interested, you can go over there and grab them for free. And I also teach a mentorship. I don't mention that too often, but if you're interested in working with me and getting feedback from me and that kind of stuff, I give a full 1-year mentorship right now. And if you're interested, just feel free to reach out to me through the contact section of my webpage. Again, the link's in the description. Or you can reach out to me on Discord. My name is Shane O on Discord, so with no space. Don't ask me how I got that name, but yay. Anyway, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll catch you all next time. Take care, and we'll see you.